just give us your name and when you went to school here and what your memories are.
Okay. My name is Randy Kaeding, K8TMK. I went here only for 1 year, from 1963 to 1964. I stayed over in Memorial Hall the whole time. And I got a couple of funny stories. My room was right across the hall from the custodian over there, Henry. And one evening we went out there and taped an M80 to his door and lit it. And scared him half to death. Of course, we all disappeared by the time it went off, so he never knew who did it. Another thing, they had a vending machine over there. This is the old style vending machine. You could reach your arm up inside there and get all the candy you wanted. Am I doing okay? And that was another story. And I had a phonograph oscillator that I very conveniently put on 600 kilohertz AC, which basically jammed the current carrier station over there. And of course the current carrier station was WVTI, and I was using WTVI. And I had a wire antenna that I put on the roof. Went from one end of the building down the hall and around the corner to the other end of the building. And Smiley was going through there one time trying to figure out, he had a portable radio, and he was trying to figure out where it was. He knew it was in the dorm over there somewhere. Well, he got to the corner down there on the other end of the building, the far end of the building, where it turned the corner, and of course the direction changed. So he thought sure it was in this one room, knocked on the door, and of course the guy didn't know anything about it. He just happened to, that was another funny thing that happened. Another time I was on the current carrier station over there, and the ham station, which was in the basement, was on the air, and it was interfering with me up there. So I very nonchalantly walked down there, flipped the transmitter off, discharged the tubes, pulled the PA tubes out, and went back upstairs. I said, you can have them back when I'm off the air. And that's just some of the stories I remember from here. After I left here, I went to finish my education at Lake Michigan College in Benton Harbor, Michigan. Went in the military for 2 years, and then worked at Heathkit my whole career, working career. I started out in the service department for 4 years, repairing audio gear, and then they booted me up to the manual department, which was part of engineering, and I wrote a whole lot of the assembly manuals for Heathkit. I'm retired now. The company no longer exists, but it was a very nice company to work for. One time we had a couple thousand employees, and when they got down to the end there, they had 6 employees that were working every other week with no benefits, and that was shortly before they closed up. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Educational part of the company. Kids were gone by then. And one of the things, and also when this company, DESA, bought the lighting and security part of the company, they bought the Heath Company name. So our owner, Don DeRocher, said, okay, we will become Heathkit Company.
Close tie name.
Yeah. So their own, and he owned Heathkit Company. DESA International out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, owned Heath Company. So they really weren't any related. They weren't connected together at all anymore. And if you look at this FAQs, it says Heathkit.
Was this an ex-employee or nobody knows?
Who? Nobody
That did the FAQ.
No, we don't know. We can't. Nobody can get any information.
Was it plagiarized? Is it wrong? Is it lies?
Well, that's what I was going to say. But they, in several different places in this FAQ, it says that Heath Company is owned by. Heathkit Company is owned by Heath. That hasn't been true for 15 years. So somebody doesn't know the last several years of the history. But I think it was in 2007, PopCom had an article that I wrote about the Heathkit Company.
Well, I think your ham it was either in CQ or QST. I'm thinking like September or October or maybe December. It's not been that very long ago that it talked about Heathkit under new ownership or coming back or something.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'll have to get online and look that up. It's not been very long.
Well, when they were in business, they had a reputation for building some very quality stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
And not only that, but if you bought the kit and you screwed it up, you could send it back and they
Yeah.
would fix it.
Well,
And
like I said, I worked on the audio equipment. I repaired the audio equipment for the first 4 years I was there in the service department. And of course, the manual had specifications in it, which were very good specifications for audio equipment. Well, we had no problem meeting those specifications. I mean, they were phenomenal. And whenever something...
I know a lot of their equipment, including they did some television.
Yeah.
That had,
get out there.
really great reviews.
I actually did manual on one or two of their TVs. And, of course, the last few they made were Zenith TVs in kit form. The boards were all assembled and all
I
that.
did some consulting with Zenith. Well, actually, several. When they were still in Austin, in Chicago.
Yeah.
They called me and the guy that I worked with sometimes, we have a crisis here. The one we did, that was the big deal, is they were in jeopardy of losing their Dolby license. They couldn't figure out how to fix the problem they had with the audio. And it's like, do something. And we don't care what you do, but do it.
We did some things with quadraphonic sound, and that didn't really take off too much. And I don't think our Dolby really took off that much either.
This was Dolby for their TVs.
Oh.
They had a problem with their audio ports that when you turned the TV on, it made a really loud popping sound from the speakers.
Okay.
And Dolby was threatening to pull their license if they couldn't cure that problem.
I see.
And this other guy named Don brought in his outside people. We don't care what. Make it go away.
When Heath was designing one of their TV sets, they wanted to have the closed caption in it, and they were working with, of course now Zenith owned the company, I mean more or less, and so our engineers, our TV engineers, were working with their engineers, and they would be sending messages back and forth, but every once in a while, if you had your closed caption turned on, and I could do this at home even, you'd see messages between their engineering department people that they were putting out on WGN, Channel 9, out of Chicago. If anybody had a closed caption receiver, they could see it.
I know when I worked there, we worked out of their tech section in Austin. That was back when we had Channel 44 was encoded and all of that.
Oh, I built a decoder for that.
They had a guy whose entire job was to sit there and find ways to crack everybody's coding system. The cable companies, Channel 40, everything. That's all he did. It took him like, what do you say, $3 and a 2-pound coffee can to crack Channel 44.
It was easy.
And I'm going like, you gotta be kidding me. Which is why they went out of business.
I built a little circuit board up from stuff I got out of magazine articles, and it worked great. In fact, during the day when they were Spanish, it wasn't encoded. Well, I'd have the TV sitting on, and I'd have that decoder box sitting on, which just let the normal signal go through. But when they went to, they had two different encodings. The first encoding was like for the early evening movies. This thing would just blink, and it was picking it up just like nothing happened. Then at midnight or something, they'd go to the more R-rated stuff, and they'd start copying it.
He built this little thing in a 2-pound coffee can that he used for an antenna. Because he wanted it to be just all here, all contained. So
Yeah.
it was like nothing. And it was like,
Well, the audio was just on a subcarrier,
yeah.
67 kilohertz subcarrier, and all you needed was a NE567 decoder chip which was common.
There was nothing to set it, and I was totally shocked. But the same guy also went on, because of the cable box, which was titanium. They cracked every cable box code there was. And you know, now they're off. Nobody's gonna crack it.
Right. Well, the one, I think the scramble station out of, or encoder station out of Milwaukee, that was a different system, and that was a little bit tougher, I think, to decode.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. Well, your light's still on here.
Well, that part of the conversation is good.
Oh, okay. That's fine. All right.
So,